Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening to those of us that are watching from our UK side of the world. We appreciate all the support. Hope everybody's doing fantastic today. It's Saturday, so you know that we're bringing some hot flying action, as you can see on the screen in front of you, from our Audi TT Cup Series, presented by the Gran Turismo Racing community. Gotta tell you what, I've been working with this community for a very, very long time now, maybe 3+ years. The opportunity was given to me by another great commentator, Tatiana, as she had to step away, so she wanted to make sure she left these guys with the commentator, and we stepped in as a role. And I gotta tell you what, one of the greatest decisions we ever made was to hang out with this community. This community is family to me. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. Settle in, ladies and gentlemen. We got a hot flying front wheel drive endurance race action for everybody today. So we're at the Nurburgring GP Sprint layout. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. So, the sprint layout, you say, hey Ghost, I'm not familiar with that layout. Well, unfortunately I don't have a map for you for this particular layout. However, for those of us that are very familiar with the Nürburgring GP, when you come out of the very famous Mercedes arena, and that is turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, instead of going straight and setting yourself up for a left-hand turn to go to the bottom part of the Nürburgring GP part of the racetrack, these guys are going to hit brakes right after the Mercedes arena, and they're going to make a hard hairpin right-hand corner, and they're going to skip that bottom section of Nürburgring GP track here today. So it is the sprint layout here, and this is a fun layout. This is perfect layout for these little cars. It's the perfect distance, allows them to get the perfect amount of speed for what these cars are capable of. We are in for a great race here today. These are front-wheel drive cars, ladies and gentlemen. They're GT4 racing cars here on the Gran Turismo platform. The Gran Turismo 7 platform, pardon me, and we're just on board with TT Piggums here right now, and he's just a driver that's out that we're watching right now. He's clearly the fastest in practice at the moment, as you can see, number 1 on his name here. We haven't really looked at any times or anything, so it's going to be very interesting. So it's 3 times fuel and 3 times tire for the series. So every time these drivers go around for a full racing lap here today, they're going to suffer 3 laps worth of tire degradation and 3 laps worth of fuel consumption in these racing cars. So that will, at some point, force a pit stop for these drivers throughout this race. Now, there is no requirements as far as pit stops goes here in this series. It is, if you can make this car go an hour without having to stop, then you probably got a good shot at winning this race. However, with that being said, the fuel is always the concern here for these drivers in this particular series, and at some point it will force these drivers to make that pit stop. Now, the decision ultimately that each driver needs to make at that point is, do they want to take a fresh set of racing hard tires, which is the compounded tires we are using here this season. It is the only tire to be used. However, if the weather goes to conditions of rain, which very well possibly could here in the TT Cup Series, then the drivers will obviously attach on some intermediate or heavy wet tires depending on the amount of water on the racetrack. So that'll be a decision obviously that'll have to happen on the fly. Even we don't know what the weather is going to do as organizers and administration staff here. So that is the wild card every single week of racing with the dynamic weather here in Gran Turismo 7. They've done a great job, and it really does throw some wrenches in the programs of drivers when they're preparing for races. So you got to have a plan A, and then you got to have a plan B, C, and D, essentially, when you're using dynamic weather in organized event racing such as this. So this is round 5 of 8. We are now essentially heading towards the chase for the Cup, which starts next week, 2 weekends from now with the Cups, I guess. And that means we're in the second half of our season here now, and we do have some new entries here this racing round as well at Nürburgring GP. So we will go introduce our drivers. Let's do that right now. We've got Ten Tenths Simracing's Pigums here right now. We've got UTAP here as well. I'm not even gonna get started. He's just gonna laugh at me. We've got new driver Ricky Baldi in the house here, and he comes from another driver that registered a couple weeks ago as well, which we'll see here. So this is a brand new driver. We've got 1010 Simracing's Badass here as well on track. We've got Superboy here on track as well, OG here at the GTRC community. We've got Mike 1972, also an OG here at the GTRC. We've got Hair Razor, one of our great administration staff, coming from Team Rad on track. We've got SPG's Type R, an OG here from GTRC as well. We've got Happy Pappy on track, another OG here. We've got 1010 Simracing's Bar 27, owner-operator of the Gran Turismo racing community. We've got Team Rad's Doug Burrow, major player here in the admin staff at the GTRC as well. And then we've got ERA's Ishmael Truth on track here. So some competition is stepping out on track here with our new entries this weekend here in racing as well. So welcome into Ishmael and Ricky. Love to see it. Big grid here today in these TT Cup cars. We're in for a treat today. We really, really are. I don't think that's everybody. I think we're still missing a couple of drivers yet. Looks like we got the 2-minute warning coming for qualifying here, so stay on board with Ishmael here. There we go. Got Good Luck TT coming in from the YouTube chat over at GT45 Gaming. We're just checking on our GTRC group here. Nuclear Clutch coming in. I believe the biggest grid this season so far. It does appear to be that way, absolutely. And you know what? It's going to be a great race here today as well. These Cup cars, you know, there's haters out there. There's a lot of people that do not like these TT Cup cars. They don't like the front wheel drive aspect of these cars. And they're very difficult to drive. They're very understeery. In my opinion, they're a little bit still out of touch in the class of car that they're presented in as a Group 4 class. This is, in real life, more of a touring car style setup car. So when we're watching our favorite world circuit racing, wherever it be in the world that we watch it, typically we see these TT Cup cars in that TCS class, essentially, or some version of a touring car class, depending on what part of the world we're racing in. So that's kind of where these cars belong. So they're slightly outclassed in the Group 4 class. When you put these cars up on the track against all the other Group 4 cars, typically this car finds itself lagging in the back half of the field just because it doesn't have that top-end capability that a lot of those other cars do. Now, not to say that this car cannot be competitive. I love this car. It is a personal favorite of your boy Ghost car here. It is top 2. Maybe even just all-time my favorite Group 4 car in Gran Turismo. Has been since GT Sport. I still rock this car every opportunity I get. I put this car in the time trials every chance I get. It's a great car. It really is a fun little car. Once you figure out the quirkiness and how to drive this car, it is legitimately an absolute blast to drive. So, provides really great racing. The TT Cup cars provide great racing. There's so many different ways you could drive this car to gain speed out of exits and into corners. So it really comes down to the person, the male or the female in behind the wheel of these cars, to get these cars around the track as efficiently as possible. So it looks like we're just getting ready to go to qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be 1 hour here this evening or afternoon, depending where it is where you're viewing from. And no mandatory pit requirements here in this series. This is designed for fun. So let's go have some fun. Alright, looks like we're going to get a lobby reset here. And then we're going to head out and do some qualifying. So, I wasn't paying attention to the times here on track. Let me go look at some of the times here. Or not. We're going to be probably see a minute and a half if I had to guess here. Let's go Team TT. What's up, Kilt? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you. We got love in the house for TT today. There's 3 of our drivers up in the house here today. So, let's see how they do. 4. There we go. Getting our lobby reset. So you guys kind of get a little bit of a sneak peek what happens behind the scenes here at the GTRC. Typically I have information on the screen for you guys, but I don't have the right set of information available at this time for this particular layout of racetracks. So we'll just talk you through it. It's a NURB. It's pretty cut and dry. There we go. All right, so quali is underway here now. Now, we do things a little bit differently at the GTRC than we typically see in most of the leagues that we work with here at GT45 Gaming. We do not use the in-game qualifying here. We use a system that is, you get 10 minutes. So essentially, we break down how many laps you're going to get around the racetrack at 10 minutes. And in this case, I think we're going to see 6. So I think we'll see 7 laps total, an out lap and 6 hot laps, I believe. It could be 5. And that's how many qualifying attempts that these drivers will get. Once they have finished their mandated amount of laps, then they park their cars at the end of turn 1 well off track, out of the way, until everybody's finished their qualifying, and then there'll be a small little break, and that's to allow track officials and the race crews to get out, make sure the track is deemed safe and ready to go for racing conditions, of course, and then they'll send these drivers on the grid, get them lined up, and we'll go racing. So qualifying is done just slightly differently here at the GTRC than we typically see in other groups or organizations that typically just use the in-game features. And again, that's just something that's worked for this community, and there's no point in changing something that isn't broken, essentially. So we got a penalty here for tap, and that's going to allow Piggums to probably gain the position on him here. No, it does not, actually. That's quite surprising. It does. So we're going to stay with Piggums here because he is now going to be the lead car here in qualifying, and that's just unfortunate. A penalty there for tap as he was coming around there through the racetrack. Good luck to the drivers. Hey, appreciate you. All right, we're just checking on things here. We've been having a little bit of streams. All right, just checking on things, making sure everything's working good. Here we go. So official qualifying laps now are underway. That was just the out laps. That's just a chance for the drivers to basically warm up their tires, kind of give themselves a little bit of space between each other. So if a driver makes a mistake, you're not right on top of another driver. You definitely don't want to have to check up in the middle of a qualifying lap. That's always never the ideal situation. It does happen, but it's never ideal. So we're going to stay on with Piggums here, and we're just going to go through the field here for the first time around as they come through, and then we'll just do what we do from there. We'll just try to keep an eye on the drivers that are coming around the start-finish line at that point. But right now we are on board with Piggums here. So we're coming to Mercedes Arena, and this is typically where you go straight through, and you're going to be set up for a left-hand corner here. You're at the curb, you're hard on the brakes, and you're setting up for this double apex hairpin here. And this essentially skips that whole bottom section of the Nurburg Ring GP sector and takes us right back up into the final chicane here, essentially. Or the high-speed chicane, pardon me. Slipstream is going to be very important here on this back straight for these drivers in these cars as well, because it's a one-make series. It is very hard to actually gain on the car ahead of you. So slipstream is kind of the way that you do that on these bigger straights. This is a big run. This is where these cars are going to try to break the toe, try to start to open that gap on each other to give themselves a little bit of a cushion. So we're definitely going to see a little bit of movement up and down that straightaway as the race progresses here today. But here we go. As we're coming around for the first time here in qualifying, we're on board with Piggums, and this is going to go quick. We're going to do our absolute best to keep up with these guys as they come across here. It's going to be pole for Piggums. Tap's going to stay in second. Doug's going to take pole away. Mark's going to move up into third place. We got Pappy coming through next here. He is going to stay in fifth. Bart jumps up into fifth. Badass moves up into fifth. We got Super coming through. He goes into seventh. We got Ricky coming through. He's going to stay in ninth. We got Hair Razor, the next driver, coming through here. He's going to go up into fifth place. We got Mike 1972 coming through on his first lap. Good enough for fourth. We got Type R coming through. Good enough for eighth place. And we got Ishmael coming through here, our final driver. 13 on the grid today. And that's good enough for pole position, ladies and gentlemen. New driver coming in, asserting his speed here on the racetrack, taking pole position on the first hot lap here. So there we go. Ishmael on top currently after the first set of laps. We got Doug in second, Piggums in third, Mark in fourth, Mike in fifth, Tap in sixth, Hair Razor in seventh, and Badass rounding out that top eight here. Let's stay with this. Ooh, I think we're in for a good race today, folks. I can feel it in my bones. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I know here in North America, we're moving into our springtime here in most parts of North America, so we're still trying to shake that winter bug, but that means the weather's changing. That means the sun's starting to come out a little bit. Everybody's starting to get a smile on their face. I know I'm feeling pretty good today. We've had a rough couple of weeks here, and I think we're finally over all the flu and tooth issues here finally, so we're feeling great again. We're back to our normal selves, so we're definitely excited to crank out some great commentary. So Pagum's going to move up into second here. Doug Burrow's going to stay in third. Mark is going to stay in fourth, and Mike's going to stay in fifth. All right, let's try to find our next group here. We got Badass coming through. Doug's coming through there too. Doug stays in third. Badass moves up into sixth. We got Super coming through there. Not sure what happened there to Mark. That was interesting. Reset maybe potentially. Interesting ordeal there. You can see he's getting out of the way here. Maybe we're only getting 2 laps here today. All right. So there we go. Let's get on board with our pole sitter here, who looks like he's still going to remain as our pole sitter here. So a 2 lap threw me for a curveball here today, the boys. Ooh, GG's. Usually it's a 10. We're at a 5 here today. That was a beauty. All right, I love it. So Ishmael in pole position. He's got half a tenth over TT's Pigums, who's got 1/10 over Doug Burrow, who's got 1/10 over Ten Tenths Subi Mark, who's got 1/10 over Mike 1972. Then a little bit of a gap there. 4/10 to Hair Razor. Then we got a 10th to Badass. We got a 10th to Tap. We got 2/10 to Type R. We got 2 1,000ths between Type R and Ricky Baldy. We got 2/10 from him to Supra. We've got a 10th to Bar, and we've got 2/10 to Pappy. Overall, it looks like 1.6 to 1.7 seconds separating the whole 13-car grid here today. Nose to tail, if you line those cars up, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. This could be a banger. We're in for a treat. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Cars are revving. It's a wonderful day. Couldn't agree more, Kilt. Couldn't agree more. All right, so there's our qualifying run. They threw me for a curveball today. I love that. I love that. They didn't. Bar actually pre-warned me. I just didn't understand what he was telling me. Well, hey, that's the way she goes. All right, so we're going to have a 1-hour endurance race here now, ladies and gentlemen. So somewhere around that 30 to 40-minute mark, we'll see a sequence of pit stops, or we may say 2-stop strategies here. Again, it really comes down to how much fuel the driver is going to use here. This is the sprint version of the racetrack, so I suspect the fuel should go at least half the race here. So I think we're just going to see a varying one-stop style strategy from these drivers. There's some competition on the track here. We got Pigums and Bar 27 and Badass sitting right there beside each other. We got some guys having some fun on the racetrack there. We got Ricky Baldy up against the wall there with his bud Ishmael there. So Ishmael is one of our newest drivers and is and brought in Ricky Baldy to come race with us here today. So again, welcome in to both of them guys. Absolutely love to see the new faces coming in. We've got the Team Rad crew sitting right there with the Ten Tenths car giving them a little nudge there. So there we go. We got Super blowing donuts around, and we're having some fun here today. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. We got Mike 1972 in that beautiful Audi livery. Very retro, very original there. We love that. That's beautiful. We got Badass and Bar there as well. Where's our boy Tap? There's Tap. The Hot Wheels Audi on track here today. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We got Type R there. And Pappy's just in there having a chat with his crew, making sure the crew is on point. All right. We're getting ready to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that being said, let's move you to the big screen. All right, I do not have standings. We have not received the updated standings yet, so don't know exactly where the standings are going to be sitting right now. We had that pretty crazy race last round in round 4 there where our championship points leader did not have a great race and did not finish well, so that definitely upset the balance in the point standings a little bit, the top end of the point standings. So we'll have to see if we can get a hold of them here before the end of the broadcast here today to kind of set this up for everybody. But for now, we are lined up. The track officials have cleared the track to go racing. 13 cars here from the Gran Turismo racing community, round 5 Nurburgring GP sprint circuit. Kick them tires, light them fires. We're green and we're racing, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like everybody gets a good start here. And Ishmael, our pole sitter, is going to lead us out here today. So is he going to keep the spot down? He's going to go on that defensive side. Turn 1 Nurburg ring is a little bit tricky. You got a lot of cars coming in, 3-4 wide here. It looks like there's a ton of room in here. Great job by this group. Look at that great race start right there. Mercedes Arena is a bottleneck spot here around this racetrack. It does cluster the cars up, and at race start, it's very difficult. Beautiful, beautiful race start here. We got Super going out wide. That's going to give an opportunity there for Tap to try and get something done, but Super gets back in line. And these guys are going to have to watch that track limit there. So since the last major update here in Gran Turismo, they have really changed the track limits on a lot of these racing tracks as far as their track penalties go. So hopefully these drivers have been testing that and been aware of that, because the exit of Mercedes Arena is one of those places now where the penalty limitations have gotten a lot more strict. So there we go. Subi Mark side by side with Mike 1972. This is a battle for 3rd and 4th place. We're 2 deep all the way behind this group here, but we're going to stick up here right now. Subi Mark side by side racing in the Cup cars, baby. Let's go. Here we go. Badass going a little defensive there. He tucks back in behind Piggums. We got Team Rad driver there looking to make the move, and it was a good defense right there by Subi Mark. He goes in a little bit deeper into the brakes there on that defensive line, and out breaks Mike 1972 coming into the corner there, defends that 3rd place position here. And as we head around the final corner, I believe they still call this Coca-Cola corner here, to start lap 2. That is a great clean racing start here from this Audi TT Cup racing crew. Badass here in 6th place. We got Hair Razor in 7th. We got Ricky up into 8th, so up a couple of early spots here. We got Super in 9th. We got Tap down into 10th, so a little bit of a mistake made there by Tap. He's been shuffled down the pack a little bit here. We got Bar 27 here in 11th place. Type R right in behind, and Happy Pappy right there. The whole crew still nose to tail here as we head around. Ishmael now, though, starting to open a gap here. 1.2 seconds right now over Doug Burrow, who has gotten around Mark and Mike and Piggum. So something happened there. A little shuffle in the pack, perhaps, in turn number 1 there. And Subi Mark still in 3rd place. Mike still in 4th, but now we see Piggums here. Actually, that's where he was, I guess, closing in on that group there. So again, nose to tail, everybody being very patient here right now. It seems like very early on, and just feeling out the pace of each other here. We got Hair Razor in 7th place. Stick right around this mid pack here for now. Everybody's playing fairly nice right now. It's a lot of really good smart racing here. Everybody's just trying to gain what little bits they can in and out of these corners to try and get the exit speed to make the move coming into the braking zone. So we're going to see a lot of passes, I think, being done in braking zones here today. You can see how hard it is for these drivers to gain on each other. Hair Razor really closing in on Badass here, who is currently sitting in 7th place, and again looking to try and get the position on 6th place up ahead of him. He does need to think about Ricky Baldy there in 8th place here as well. Newcomer today, looks real good on the racetrack. And speaking of newcomers, one is leading the race here with Ishmael Truth. This is a fantastic driver. He comes from the Esports Race Asylum race team. You want to talk about a great organization. Race Asylum Racing Team is a great organization. We're friends with them over there, and they have some quality driving ability. They have some quality drivers over there. So Ishmael is showing you why he's got the ERA tag. He is one of their esports drivers over there. That means he does compete on the highest level for that group. So he is definitely bringing some competition here to our group in the Audi TT Cup Series, and I tell you what, these drivers are up to the task, I assure you. Doug Burrow here in 2nd place. We got Mark here in 3rd position. We got Mike in 4th. We got Piggums, half-second track limit penalty. You hate to see it. We got Badass there in 6th. Let's sit on board with Badass here. Now, when Piggums goes to serve this penalty, there's a good opportunity there for Badass and potentially Hair Razor maybe to grab that position here. So we'll see what happens here. The gap is about that half second right now. That half-second penalty is going to cost It's going to cost probably a second to 1.2 seconds based off where this penalty serving line is here at the GP. So there we go. We just seen Piggums have to serve that penalty coming right out of the acceleration zone. And there we go. Badass is going to get the job done. He's going to move up the outside there. He's going to change over with Piggums for position. Badass now up into 5th place. Got Piggums tucked into 6th place there. Hair Razor still tucked right in on that group. Was not able to take advantage of that penalty. Ricky Baldy here just a little off of those guys, but still in the slipstream. Hair Razor with a big move right there. Takes a look up the inside on Piggums coming out of the final corner there. Can Piggums make the defense? He does. Great job right there. We got to go take another look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That was a beauty attempt right there by Hair Razor. Hair Razor comes in. He sees an opportunity here. Pigum stays on the racing line. He takes a look on the inside. Just cannot make it happen as Pigum's got good speed through that corner there. Absolutely a great attempt right there by Hairraiser. Pigum's with a great defense, and this is still going on here between these three drivers right now. Hairraiser's looking for a way through at the moment as he took a look again coming into turn number 2 there as we're in Mercedes Arena. This is a very difficult sector. You got to be very patient around here. You really got to let the car work around the corners here. They are very difficult. Oh, big time penalties coming in behind there. Ricky Baldy's going to see one. Tap's going to see one as well. You used to be able to take liberties like that here, but I think we're going to see some infractions for that right there. And I'll be shocked if we don't, actually. I know in the Group 3 cars, they don't like those, they don't like that track. Oh, we got Super off the track here. Not sure what happened there, but that is going to be a position gain for Bar 27. He's going to move himself up in the top 10 here. And, oof, dirty tires there for Supra. That puts him in trouble here. Now he's at risk from Type R in behind here as well. Oh, and Type R is going to try and get the job done. Supra struggling a little bit here. He can't get those tires scrubbed off. He's still trying to hold that position back here. And, again, he's going to have dirty tires coming into this final corner, so he is really going to have to be careful at how deep he chooses to go into the brakes here, but he is fighting for his life here right now to maintain that position in 11th place, and he does manage to make the corner and hold the position, but Type R gets a good run here in 12th place. And are we going to see that battle coming into the inside there? Oh, he just decided not to stick his nose in there. I guess he didn't like the way it looked, but again, Super goes really wide, and Type R just gets a great run, and he's going to tuck right back in behind. Let's just go through the field here to see what has happened. Make sure we haven't seen any dramatic changes here, but no, everything is still going here. These guys are all still battling it out. There we go. We got a little move here from Ricky Baldy and Tap. So the Hot Wheels car starting to move his way up the field here. Back up into P8. We got Ricky here in P9, but he is not done with this battle yet. He's like, no, mate. Hold on. That was a mistake. Yeah, I'm going to take that back. Just give me 1 second here. And he's going to battle that position back. We got a battle up front here going on. Oh, and Badass making a bit of a mistake. Not sure what happened there, as he was battling with Hairraiser there. Let's go see what happened there. Pigums went up the inside of Badass there. Oh, and Badass just got out of line there. Had to check himself up. That is really, really unfortunate. The car just gave him a little bit of a, I think, an understeer moment right there. And just being safe and smart right there. Just getting out of the way of the drivers there that were right in behind him. Giving up 2 positions there, but keeping the car safe and sound. And that's the most important thing. Live to continue racing is the important thing here. Battle for second place. Subi Mark takes a look up the inside of Team Rad's Doug Barrow there. Into the chicane. A little airtime as he hits the bollard right there. And still gets the job done. That Audi was off all 4s right there, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a bunny hop there as he comes over the bollard, but Doug Burrow looking to respond, coming the inside there, and he's going to tuck in, get a nice run out of the corner, and he's going to settle right back in behind Subi Mark here. So this is a battle for second and third position here on lap number 6 as they come across the start-finish line. And boy, this is a juicy race today, folks. Let me tell you what. Inside as we come into turn number 1 here, Doug Burrow's going to get the spot back. Are we going to see the cutback coming from Subi Mark? That's going to put him in the outside here. This is a tough hold on the outside in Mercedes Arena here, and he's going to have to settle back in behind Doug Burrow. So Doug Burrow responds with a move back here to take second place back over, but Subi Mark is not done with this yet. He is all over the back end of that Audi right now. As we come out of Mercedes Arena, they are almost stuck together like glue here. And let's see if we see something coming into the braking zone here. Ishmael just up ahead, 3.8 seconds. Loving this fight behind him here right now, as it's allowing him to continue to open up the gap on the field. And good defense there by Doug Burrow over Subi Mark. So the battle continues on there. Half-second track limit penalty for Mike 1972. All right, we got Pigums here in 5th place. He is still holding out the charge of Hairraiser here in 6th. We got Ricky in 7th place. We got Tap in 8th, and we got Badass right there in 9th place, starting to fight his way back, trying to get back up to that fight there up towards the podium. So he's tucked in behind Tap here. And then we've got Bar 27 teammate just a little bit in behind there as well. They got about 4 seconds there. So Badass gets a great run coming out through the corner there. You can see he is all over Tap right now as they come out of the corner. Fairly equally paced drivers, these two as well. So maybe if they start working together even a little bit here, they may actually be able to even start pushing the pack as a tandem here. But Ishmael right now starting to kind of run away with this race. He's got 4.4 seconds on the gap, and the more that these two continue to fight it out, the more they're just letting Ishmael run away with round 5 here right now. Doug Burrow taking the spot back from Subi Mark, and this has been an ongoing battle here for second and third place over the last couple of laps. This is a fantastic battle right here. And I mean, what else can we say? Look at these guys go. We got It says 3/10 of a second separating the two of them. It is about that, but it looks like a lot less. We got Pickham's here in 5th place. He's still holding off Hair Razor here for the time being, but the pack is closing back in here. Got Ricky in 7th. We've got Tap right here in 8th. We've got Badass still right there in 9th. We've got Super there in 10th with Bar now in behind him in 11th. So Super gaining back up some positions here in the field. Type R in 12th, and we got Happy Pappy here in 13th. And that is a beauty little bit of a livery right there too, showing off some beauty color in there. Love it. All right, Ishmael, 5 seconds up the road here now. And I mean, this guy, he's got nothing to worry about. He's got no pressure. He's got wide open racetrack, and he's cruising right now, having a beautiful race start here. Exactly kind of an ideal situation for this driver here right now, as he's just moving and he's grooving. So let's jump on board with our current race leader, Ishmael, here, as he goes around the Nurburgring GP here to start lap number 8. So we'll do a little lap around the Nurb with Ishmael here, and a little tough to see over the wheel there, isn't it? Hey, maybe we'll leave it here. So turn 1 here, you can see really hard on the brakes, down into 1st gear for rotation, back into 2nd gear for acceleration. That's to eliminate some of the understeer, and then you just kind of roll into car here in 3rd gear. Now the Audi TT Cup car is a very good car in 3rd gear. 3rd gear is really an important gear in this car, and here is just being patient, using your gearing here to keep the car from understeering and squealing the tires. And Ishmael's doing a great job here, nice and smooth, very rhythmic here. Just as we head past this 100-meter board on the brakes, down into 2nd, maybe 1st if you need it, catch that apex, and then get ready back up into acceleration. This guy's all over this racetrack right now. He's only used a quarter of his fuel as well. He may be looking at a no-stop race here today. We may finally see a no-stop attempt here today. We come around the hairpin, and this sets up that long run up into the final chicane here. I believe they call that, what did they call that? Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to bring a track map up so I can refresh my corners a little. I believe that's the Vidal chicane, if I'm not mistaken. And then that takes us into the final corner here, and you just try to really maintain curb speed here. Try not to use your brakes any less than you need to, and that's kind of that's our leader's laps around Nürburgring GP Sprint. 7 seconds now is that gap. Doug Burrow and Mark here, they're still nose to tail here in 2nd and 3rd place, with Mike 1972 just in the edge at Slipstream there in 4th. We got Pickham's there in 5th place. He's got Hair Razor just nipped in there in 6th place. We got Ricky here in 7th with Tap tucked in behind 8. Badass is a little bit behind those guys there in 9th. Maybe penalties throwing him off that battle there a little bit again. Super here in 10th with Bar 27, still very close in 11th. We got Type R here in 12th, and we got Happy Pappy in 13th. So the pack is still relatively tight together here, as we're about a quarter of the way through the race at this point now. Not quite, almost. I think that was a 50-minute timer on there, wasn't it? We're 14 minutes in. It is a 50-minute endurance here, so I do apologize. It is 50, not 60. We got a little battle brewing right here between Supra and Bar 27. Sorry about the silence, it's unlike me like that, but sometimes when I don't have anything immediately in my head, sometimes it's just better to just roll through the action, you know what I mean? So, nice little battle here going inside, squeeze tight a little bit there with Bar 27 from Supra. Not quite giving him a fair amount of room there, but nonetheless, everybody gets through safe and sound. Now Type R is going to take advantage here. He's going to look up the inside of Bar 27. Bar is going to have to let that one happen. There's a great positioning there by Type R, and great opportunistic move there from Type R. So Bar 27 now finds himself down into 12th place here, having to pass both these guys back, but Bar is going to take the slipstream he's going to pull out here, and he's going to try and get the job done on Type R. Type R is going to squeeze him down into that hard defensive line here. We got some hard elbows out racing happening here in the backpack right now. It's a beautiful little battle happening right here on the track, and Supra's still maintaining in that 10th position here. Let's move down into this battle here between Type R and Bar 27, and Happy Pappy's just sitting right there tucked in behind all this with popcorn, watching it all go down, waiting for his opportunity to find another position here on the racetrack as well. So these 4 cars here doing a pretty good job here. They're having their own great little battle here right now. All right, Bar 27 up the inside of Type R here in the hairpin. Going to get that nice tight entry in there, holds a good tight line, and he is going to get the job done there on Type R. So Bar 27 moves back up into 11th place, and now trying to track Supra back down for that re-engagement on that 10th place battle. All right, so we got Ishmael here in first place, and things are kicking off here in second and third and fourth and fifth place here. We got these guys all battling hard here now. Subi up the inside on Mark here again, and this battle re-engaged, but this time he's got help. Mike 1972 is going to try and take advantage here. He's going to tuck in behind. He's going to try and push Mark through here so he can get the inside position here on Doug. And are we going to go 3 wide into the turn here? No, we are not. I wasn't sure what we were going to see there. Doug's going to squeeze Mark tight here. Mark's going to move it back up, and Doug is going to get a good hold here, but he is holding tough right there, is Subi Mark. But now again, that puts him on the outside here, but he had a little more positioning this time coming into turn number 2, and he's going to hold pretty strong there. But again, trying to hold that outside line through Mercedes Arena, not an easy task here, so Subi's going to have to just tuck right back in behind Doug Burrow there in third place, and Ishmael's just being handed free time here right now from the second and third place battle here as they continue to just absolutely send it for second and third place. A little bit of a tap there, under braking, but I mean, these guys are all nose to tail 4 deep here. There's not a lot of room for reaction time here. So that was a minor touch, and he checks up a little bit, make sure he doesn't take the position, and this is battle re-engaged. Pigham's taking a look here now up the inside of Mike 1972, but he can't get the job done, and Pigham's is now trying to find a way around here as well. This is a great 4-way battle right now for the podium position, second, third, fourth, and fifth place. Whew. Guys, keeping me on my toes today. All right, so it is Subi Mark here, and this has been a tough battle. This has been a hard fight between second and third place here all race long. And look at the run Mark's going to get. Oh, he set that up. Checks up the back of the field, going a little early on the brakes there. Gives himself a little room behind those guys and sets up for a great run out of the corner. But then Doug goes for the cutback. Gets a little bit of contact. We're 3 wide coming to the start-finish line. And oh my, this is a dogfight. And all this is doing is letting the rest of the pack catch up here. Here we go. Subi Mark currently in third place, but now he's down into fourth place. Mike 1972, we're almost 3 wide again coming into turn 1. A little bit of contact there between Mike 1972 and Doug. Mark's going to take advantage. Now we're going to go 3 wide here into turn 2, and things are getting spicy here at the GTRC, ladies and gentlemen. 3 wide around turn 2. Everybody lives to talk about it. Oh my goodness, Doug Burrow at the inside. This man is defending for his life here in second place right now. We've got Mike 1972 putting on huge pressure here on Doug Burrow, and he's got the inside track coming into the hairpin. Mike 1972 might get the job done, but he's going to pick up a penalty. Where did he get a penalty from right there? 3 wide coming into the hairpin. Mike 19, oh boy, this is absolutely elbows out, hard nose to nose racing here. And Ishmael, he's just out for a Sunday drive here. He's like, thanks, boys. Thank you very much. All right, Mike 1972 settles himself into second place. Doug Burrow now here in third place. We got Subi Mark in fourth. We got Pigham's in fifth. Ricky's now involved in this fight in sixth place. Hairraiser in seventh, and Tap in eighth. I mean, we have got a 7-way fight here now through second to eighth place. This is incredible. Badass here, 4.4 seconds. He just needs to start cooking some laps, and he's going to be on the back end of that fight. It's insane. That mid-pack, very close together. And then we've got this backpack here. We cannot forget about this last group here either. These guys fighting hard back here for 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th position as well. And then there's Ishmael. He's just chilling. He's like, where'd everybody go? All right, cool. All right, so Doug Burrow is somehow back up into second place here, right? Penalty. Mike had that penalty, so that half-second penalty took Mike 1972 from second all the way down to seventh place, and now Tap is looking to make it eighth place here as we come into turn number 1. Tap does have that inside line. A little bit of a lag moment there. I don't think there was a touch there. And Tap's going to get the job done. So Mike 1972, that penalty just killing the momentum. And there he is, badass, right on the back of this fight now, just like that. 10th place here. They're 11 seconds in behind. So a little bit of a pace difference on our last 4 drivers compared to our top 10 drivers, or 9 drivers essentially here, but Ishmael's on a whole nother level here today, and only because second, third place have been battling so hard all race long. They've literally just allowed the leader to continue to drive away. Whew. All right, we got a moment of calmness here on the racetrack. Let's go through our field here as we're almost nearing our midway point of the race here. How are our fuel looking? We may be seeing a one-stop attempt here coming from our leader. No joke here. This would be almost a full minute win if he can pull it off. We got Doug Burrow here. And there we go. This battle is just absolutely kicking off. So we got Doug in second. He's got a gap right now. He's broke the toe. Piggums has jumped up from 5th to 3rd place here now. And we got Ricky up into 4th place from 6th place. So we're not sure what happened to Mark there, but he's down 2 spots there. A little damage on the front end of that car. Maybe that has something to do with it. Got Hair Razor right here in 6th place. We got Tap in 7th place, and we got a pit stop happening here. Who is that? Mike 1972 coming into pit lane here, and Badass losing that free toe to get right into the pack here. So unfortunately for Badass there, that car jumped into pit lane. He's got to close up a little bit of a gap there. Mike 1972 coming into pit lane here. We got Supra in 10th position. We got Type R in 11th. We got Pappy in 12th. We got Bar in 13th here. So not sure what happened there either, but I think Mike 1972 wants to get out into some clean air. I think he wants to get out of that engaged battle in the mid-pack, and I think he's looking for an undercut here. I think he's going to stop a little early, and I think what he's looking to do is do what Ishmael's got going on here, get it into clean air and just have an opportunity to run clean laps, nobody battling in front, just run your laps and hopefully gain position with the undercuts. So Ishmael here in the lead, 16.9 seconds. We got Doug in 2nd place. He's got 3/4 of a second over Piggums. Piggums starting to close that gap in on Doug. Now remember, Doug has been racing really hard here. His tires are probably a little more worn out. Got Ricky here in 4th place. He is 4/10 of a second in behind Piggums at the moment, with Subi Mark in 5th place. Again, another one of those drivers that's been fighting really hard, maybe wearing the car out a little bit here, maybe starting to feel the effects of that as well on the racetrack. We've got Hair Razor in 6th place with Tap tucked right in behind him here in 7th, and Tap looks like he's gaining pretty good here. We got Badass in 8th place, right? He's kind of stuck in no man's land at the moment here. We got Supra in 9th. We got Type R in 10th. We got Pappy in 11th. We got Bar 27 in 12th. And we got Mike in 13th place. And again, he just made that pit stop, so I think that's a strategic move, and I think that's a plan B call made there from Mike 1972. Now, as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, with the dynamic weather in this series, you kind of need a plan B, C, and D for your pit stop strategies, because you just never know what the weather's going to change on you. And at Nürburgring GP here, this is one of those tracks where rain is always a potential. It's very nice on the racetrack here today. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case here today, but it is always potential here on this racing track, and it's always in the back of the mind of the racers as well, and the crew chiefs in the paddocks. So, but again, nice conditions here on track here today. The drivers are really getting a great opportunity to race here. So Ricky now under pressure from Subi Mark here, so this is a battle for 4th and 5th place. And Subi Mark now under fire from Hair Razor here. So Subi thought about maybe trying to make something happen on Ricky there, and Hair Razor seen an opportunity there to try to make something happen on Subi, and this is some great mid-pack battle in here from this group. We got Ricky here in 4th place. We got Subi Mark in 5th. Hair Razor in 6th. Tap right there in 7th. Badass starting to close back in just a little bit here in 8th place. We got Supra in 9th. We got Type R in 10th. Pappy in 11th, Bar 27 in 12th, and we got Mike 1972 here again with that early pit stop here, and I think that was all strategy. I think that was a plan B called, made by the crew chief there. You know what, let's get out of this fight, bring the car in, let's get you some new rubber, let's fill the tank full with fuel, and let's get you some clean air, and let's try to make up some positions that way. So we'll have to see how that worked out for him. I'm excited to see how that worked out for him. So we're not quite at the midway point of the race, and we are seeing a little over half a tank of fuel used here from Ishmael. So currently the one stop may not be necessarily feasible, but as he continues to open a gap, he will be able to start the fuel map and fuel save if he needs to. So I really feel like we're going to see our first no-stop race here this season in these TT Cup cars. Got Doug Burrow here in 2nd position, still holding off the charge. But look at the battle in behind here. Let's get to this battle in behind here. We got Subi Mark taking a look up the inside into turn 1 on Ricky here. He does not quite get the job done. Just a little touch of tires there as we head into turn number 2 into Mercedes Arena here. And Subi Mark's going to lose a little bit of momentum there with that touch, as he obviously backed off to give room to Ricky in front. So hard battling here in the mid-pack still as we're almost halfway through the race. These boys have come to race today, I tell you what. We got Subi here in 5th place. We got Hair Razor here in 6th. We've got Tap in 7th. We've got Badass here in 8th place, and 3.4, 3.1. He's hanging in there. He just can't quite close it up on those guys. And he definitely has a pace there. He hasn't lost any time to those guys. He just can't seem to close it up. And that is the difficulties here with one-make racing. When you start to lose time on a driver that's got pace, the same pace or similar pace as you, it's very hard to make that time up. You're really hoping that they make tiny little mistakes and you don't make those tiny little mistakes, or battling starts happening in front of you, which is quite possible here in this mid-pack today, which we've seen throughout this whole race. Oh, and Piggums catches a track edge under braking there. He hits Doug there. And oh man, Piggums is going to lose a bunch of spots there. Hair Razor just gets a touch there as well, and that's going to put Piggums all the way down into 6th place, and he's going to bring it into pit lane after that. He's like, yep, nope, you know what, let's just make a pit stop here. We might have been a scheduled pit stop for Piggums there, but oh, highly unfortunate. They're losing 3 or 4 positions there, just catching the track edge under braking there, and absolutely seen what happened. Just threw the car sideways. He was along for the ride. He does clip Doug Barrow there, but it looked like Doug got through okay, and whew, tense moments right there from Piggums as he was just getting ready to make his corner. We got Mark here still in 3rd place. That puts Top in 4th and Badass now here in 5th. Hair Razor's in pit lane in 6th. We got Doug in 7th. We got Piggums in 8th. We'll have to see where Piggums comes out in relation here. He definitely lost 3 positions there, I think. That's unfortunate, but that's racing. That's racing. Just a small little mistake. Just went a little too far over there and just caught a little bit of that slippery grass. And with those cold racing rear tires, these rear tires, they don't maintain the heat as well as the front tires do. Obviously with the front wheel drive, the front tires are doing all the work on this car. The rear tires are just there to keep rear tires on the back car and keep it rolling in a forward motion basically, so they don't quite hold the same temperature as the front tires, so they do get a little bit chilly at certain times in the race. And that could have been, and that's exactly what is kind of a root cause of what we just seen there from Piggums. Cold rear tire and just touching that grass under braking, and the anti-lock braking control systems in these cars, obviously a little bit of braking being used in the rear of the car, so that does lock up that rear tire on the grass, so to speak, and it's like driving on ice. So unfortunate there, but that is how it goes. So Ishmael and race leader coming in, 22nd gap. I don't think he has too much to worry about there. Ricky's coming in, Subi Mark's coming in, Tap's going to opt to stay out another lap. Badass is also coming in, so we're going to go and hit Doug Burrow here, as he was our 2nd place driver when all the pit stop sequence started happening here at the midway point of our race. So as I suspected, about the halfway point of the race is when we were going to see those stops. Probably going to see fresh tires for most of these drivers here, it looks like, and enough fuel to get to the end of the race. The fuel load that each driver takes is going to be dependent on how much fuel they're using and how much they decide that they're going to try and push, obviously, on this stint. So our current race leader right now is Tap. He's got 1.1 seconds over Ishmael, and Tap still needs to pit. So got Doug Burrow here in 3rd. We got Subi's going to come out. And where does that place him there? He's going to lose position to Mike. He's going to also lose a position there, I think, to Pappy. No. He's going to slot just ahead of Happy Pappy. There, Subi Mark comes out into 5th place. We got Pappy in 6th. We got Ricky in 7th. We got Piggums in 8th. We got Badass right there in 9th. He's closed up in that situation, so he's got a little bit of slipstream there again. Hair Razor here in 10th. We got Supra in 11th. My bad, I missed him. There we go. Good old classic Audi TT livery there. Got Type R and Bar 27 here side by side as we come into turn 1. Bar 27 still battling a little bit here, but he's going to hold a position. Type R coming out of pit lane. He's on those cold racing tires, just giving that respect to the driver that's on some heated up tires. Piggums is living on the edge. He was most certainly living on the edge right there. Tap here. Are we going to see the pit stop coming from Tap here? We may see a late pit stop coming from this driver here. This is a very interesting strategy coming from Tap here today. Ishmael, he is all over the back bumper of Tap here right now. He has made his pit stop. He's got 20 seconds over Doug Burrow, so he didn't gain anything in the pit stop sequence there, but he definitely didn't lose anything either. Doug here in 3rd position. We got Mike 1972 back up into 4th place, so the undercut looked like it was a good strategy. It moved him all the way back into this mid-pack fight. Subi Mark looks up the inside coming into the Coca-Cola corner. Slight little touch there, and Mike 1972 is only going to give him enough room to make that corner. He needs to be, you want to make way, earn it. And side by side battling between Mark and Mike 1972. These two are deadlocked in a battle for a championship here as well. I know these two are very close in points. I don't know exactly what that point spread is, so that is why we're seeing such hard racing from this mid-pack. The points difference separating about 5 drivers in this Audi TT Cup Series is a handful of points right now, I think. So we are going to see some hard fighting for sure, because these drivers don't want to finish behind the other driver. We got Ricky here in 6th place, and Pigham's starting to put a little bit of pressure here as well. So got a couple of different battles happening right now. I think this is the more engaged battle we got going on here. Ricky's going to go straight defensive here through the Mercedes Arena, holds the position. Pigham's gets a decent run there, a little bit of a wiggle, so a little understeer there from Pigham's as he came out in the exit there, and that was just enough for Ricky to continue to hold up just a little bit of a space from Pigham's here. But as we come through the hairpin here, you can see Pigham's gets a good run. He's going to close up the gap. Badass right there. He's just in behind. He's about a second in behind Pigham's, 1.5 here. If you can just get tucked in behind his teammate here, you might be able to follow him through or help create the hole as well. Bar 27 here in 11th place. He's got Happy Pappy all over his business. He's got Type R at 13th here. So Bar 27 moving up a position here early on as well. So is Tap. Ishmael here as he come across the start finish line, and Ishmael is about 0.4 of a second here, and he's chilling right now in behind Tap here. He knows what the situation is. He's more than aware of that fact that this driver has yet to make a pit stop, I'm sure, as that crew again has radio communication with these drivers. We've got Doug Burrow here in 3rd place. Subi Mark now re-engaged, right tucked back in behind Doug Burrow here. He's got about 0.8 of a second trying to close back up, so he has gotten around Mike 1972 there for 4th place. Mike 1972 sitting in 5th place there. Now he is on a couple lap older set of tires here, but I don't think that's going to matter too much with these hard compound tires today. We've got Ricky in 6th place. He's still holding off the charge of Pigham's here in 7th. And Badass is doing a great job of charging up to these two here up in front. So a little more battle in here from these two, Pigham's and Ricky. Now will allow Badass to get right engaged into the same fight here. Got Hair Razor in 9th place. He's trying to close Badass down, 4.6 seconds. We've got Supra here in 10th place. We've got Pappy here in 11th position. We've got Bar 27. Ooh, taking a look here as Pappy goes really early on the brakes, and Bar takes advantage, goes a little bit deep, but that's going to put Bar 27 on the outside coming into Mercedes Arena. It's not, again, the ideal line. We've seen Subi Mark try to make that work a couple of times here today, and it's just a difficult pass to do. You really got to commit to late braking, and you really got to prepare to drive in the marbles under late braking. So it is a tricky business here through the Mercedes Arena, and you can see Bart tried to do a great job to get a good big exit there, and he actually compromised himself slightly. Now Type R has got inside position here coming into the hairpin, and Bar 27 now finds himself down in 13th place here, having to re-engage this battle again. So good battle here in the back end of this racetrack right now. We got battles all up and down this racetrack. We love to see it. So Ishmael's made his way around Tap. We're not too surprised to see that. Tap's on pretty degraded tires here, and Ishmael's on pretty fresh tires here, so I believe, yes. Got Doug here in 3rd place. The gap is 19 seconds to Tap, so Tap can no-stop this. He could potentially hold a podium position here today. We got Mark in 4th place. He is right there tucked in behind Doug Burrow. That battle is re-engaged again. They're playing nice for the time being here. We still got 17.5 minutes left on the clock, so not quite time to be heavy battling just yet, I don't think. We got Mike 1972 here in 5th place, and Ricky doing a great job here. He has kind of broken away from Pigham's just slightly. He's kind of given himself a very small amount of breathing room here to try and charge up to Mike 1972 in 5th place, and essentially that's good for Pigham's here because that should help him charge up to that driver up in front. And then we got Badass here in 8th place, and he is doing the best he can here to continue to track up into that pack up in front of him there. We got Hair Razor here doing what he can to try and track down Badass up ahead of him for position. We got Supra in 10th place here as well. We've got Happy Pappy in 11th. We got Type R in 12th, and we got Bar 27 here in 13th. And we're going to see it be a little bit quiet for probably the next, I would say, 5 to 8 minutes of the race. Everybody's just trying to do what they can to make gains on the drivers in front. And then I think we're going to start seeing things kicking off a little bit here in the last 10 minutes again, as guys are trying to gain every position they can before the end of this race. So it is Doug Burrow holding down that final podium position here for the time being. We got Subi Mark trying to apply some pressure here in 4th place, but again, very equally paced drivers these two are, so it's hard battling out there today. It is very hard racing here today at Nurburgring GP Sprint, and we got exactly what I expected we'd see out of this, an absolute beauty of a race on this little racetrack. So we've got Ricky Baldy here, newcomer, doing great here in 6th place today. We've got Pigham's right in behind him there. We got Badass in 8th place. We got Hair Razor in 9th. and again, one of our GTRC administration staff. And this is a driver that was always competing right at the top end of the standings. He went into a little bit of a funk last season there. He was struggling a little bit. He's come back into these 2 seasons. He's doing really well, but is still not getting those top 3, 4, or 5 placement finishes that he's quite used to getting. So all that goes to show is the competition level is picking up here at the GTRC racing community. We have lots of great pace drivers in this series here, and it's been showing so far here on the racetrack. A newcomer Ishmael is just absolutely putting a stomp on things here in the Audi TT Cup cars. So let me tell you what, got Tap here in 2nd place, and he's doing a really great job here as well. And you know, he's really going to try and make this no stop work, I think. Oh, no, there we go. He's going to come into pit lane here now. I thought maybe he was going to try and do it. I thought maybe, just maybe, he was going to try and make that work, but I don't think it's going to happen. 19 liters of fuel. Yeah, 15 minutes left. I think that was a big ask. We got Doug and Masubi Mark here in 3rd and 4th place. They're probably going to grab position here on Tap. Tap's going to come out somewhere in the middle of that mid-pack fight, I think. And that's where he was before all the pit stop sequences has started to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up going, essentially with a very large overcut strategy on the rest of the field. So Doug and Mark currently are slated up in front there, and we're going to see Tap fall right down in behind Badass there, and he is taking a full load of fuel here in this car today. So he is planning on sending it, I think, here this final stint. He does well have the freshest set of tires on the racetrack, so it's an interesting strategy. Subi Mark, so that puts Doug into 2nd, now that puts Mark now into 3rd. That puts Mike here in 4th place. We got Ricky in 5th. We got Piggums here in 6th. Piggums again trying to re-engage that battle there with Ricky Baldi. We've got Badass there in 7th place. Hair Razor in 8th place, and he's got Tap that just came out in behind him here in 9th place. So again, kind of right in that mid-pack is where he was battling there at the beginning of the race. I think he's a couple spots further back than if he would have pit with the group there, but Happy Pappy here in 11th place. We got Type R in 12th, and Bar 27 here in 13th place. And that little back group there has been fighting hard here too today. So Ishmael, 22 seconds is the gap now, so he's opened up a couple seconds here. Now that our pit stop sequence is full ran through, we're at 13 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the race here. Really, it's going to take a very huge incident mistake, self-induced mistake from Ishmael at this point to give that up, I think. We got Doug Burrow here in 2nd place. I don't think I know. We got Doug Burrow here in 2nd place. We got Subi Mark here in 3rd position. Oh, a battle right here. So battle between Mike 1972 and Ricky Baldi there. And that allowed Piggums to close right up. This has now become a 3-way battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th place here. And Ricky seen an opportunity to try to get something done in the final chicane there. Mike defended it off there, and that allowed Piggums to close right back up into the fight here. And then you can see Badass is just off in the distance there as well. So, again, trying to get re-engaged in the battle here with this group. And there we go. Ricky's going to go in. Is he going to get it done here? He looked like he was going to try and get a move on the inside there. I think he just poked his nose inside there to see if he was going to get a reaction out of Mike 1972. See maybe if Mike was going to react to that, and Mike didn't bite for a second. He held his line there to give no room for an inside opportunity for Ricky, and Ricky just held his position in behind, but now he's actively engaged in that battle behind here with Piggums, as Piggums took advantage of that. Piggums read what was going down there, and now he's trying to sit here and get it on Ricky, but Ricky is just putting on a defensive clinic here today, and Piggums is really having a hard time getting around him here today on this race. And we got a couple of great brand new faces here in the Audi TT Cup Series, and we love to see it. Love to see it. He is absolutely showing his might here on the racetrack. And Piggums is one of our championship contenders here in the series, so he is definitely showing these guys what he's got on the racetrack for sure. So good job to both Ishmael and Ricky today. We got Badass here in 7th place, Hair Razor and Tap very close together here in 8th and 9th place, and Tap looking like he's starting to put some pressure now. Again, remember, Tap took a lot of fuel and he's on fresh racing rubber, so he is definitely probably going to be looking to push here. So I think we're going to see, and look at the run that Tap got on Hair Razor through the corner right there. Totally set that up. He went real hard on the brakes, slow in, fast out situation right there, and that gave him an opportunity to get inside of Hair Razor, and that is going to be an 8th place move there for Tap over Hair Razor, and that's going to put Hair Razor down into 8th position. We got Mike in pit lane. Okay, interesting strategy right there. How's it going, Trucks? How you doing, my guy? Afternoon. So it is Ishmael here, 23-second gap. Subi Mark in second place. Subi Mark's got the job done here around Dugborough. So finally, Subi Mark has found a little bit of a gap even in second place over Dugborough. Is this fight over? Well, with that 1 second penalty, it may be, but there's lots of time on the clock yet. 10 minutes. Piggums has found his way around Ricky Baldy here finally as well after several attempts and several little battles to try and get around him there. Piggums has made his way around it up into 4th place there. So Ricky now trying to chase Piggums back down to try and get that position back. And we got Badass tracking just 2.3 seconds in behind here in 6th position. Got Hairraiser battling with Tap, 7th and 8th. Hairraiser got the position back from Tap, and so we have battles now all over the racetrack. I said 10 minutes to go is when things are going to start kicking off, and that is exactly what we're seeing. Mike 1972, 10 seconds in behind. I'm not sure about that call with the pit stops there. That was an interesting call. Super here in 10th position. Got Pappy in 11th. We got Type Bar in 12th and Bar 27 here in 13th. And oh boy, it's a penalty there for Bar, and that is not ideal here with 9 minutes remaining. All right, Ishmael is moving and grooving. Mark with a half-second infraction here. Dugborough, 3.2 seconds in behind after serving his 1 second penalty. That's going to help him gain a little bit of time back on Subi Mark. But now this is good for Piggums, Ricky, who are battling here in 4th and 5th place. These guys keep collecting up these penalties here over the next series of laps, and that is going to see a 5.4 second gap close very quickly. Ricky here in 5th place, and he's starting to close back in. Badass is starting to close in on those two. We got Hairraiser here in 7th place, and he is actively fighting off Tap here right now. Tap is putting in a charge to try and get this position on Hairraiser, and Hairraiser is full defensive mode here. We're going to see a good run. Oh, and look how wide Hairraiser went coming out of Mercedes Arena there. If that is not a 1 second penalty, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. You can see the 2 stars on the roof of Hairraiser's car there as well above the Audi Sport banner. That does signify that Hairraiser is a 2-time GTRC Racing Series champion here as well. There's a few of these drivers that have the stars on their car. It's just the first time I finally noticed a set of them, as the racing's just been so intense here. We're not paying attention to the paint here today. Super here in 10th. He's got Happy Pappy putting some pressure here in 11th place. We got Type R right there in the fight. We got Bar 27 trying to close back in to get some battling happening here right at the end of the day. This is a great race. Our leader here, though, Ishmael, has been just dominating all race long. Good luck. I'll appreciate you, Adrian. And really just showing why he is an ERA driver. I mean, plain and simple. He is absolutely just flying around this racetrack in this Audi. And all the battling from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place early race just really allowed him to drive away from the field. So a pretty uneventful day here for Ishmael today as well. Got Dugborough here in 3rd place, 1.6 second gap there, so he is closing back in on Subi a little bit. Piggums is still 5.5 seconds in behind Doug and Subi, and he has Ricky starting to apply the pressure on him here. And oh, Ricky picks up a 1 second penalty, and that is going to kill that battle here on Piggums. And now Badass with 2.7 second gap on Ricky Baldy. That is going to put Badass potentially in the conversation here for that battle as well. Ricky's going to take a look up the inside. Piggums covers it off, so nothing happening there. Ricky just has to back off and wait for another opportunity, and this is great fighting between these two. This is some grade A racing here between our number 63 and number 3 driver. I don't think that's actually his number, but so there's a 1 second penalty. That's going to cost him a little more than that 1 second. Badass was 2.7 seconds in behind, so you can see now that gap is down to under a second. So that was a really costly penalty there for Ricky. Almost 2 seconds that cost him there. And now Badass is in play there to put some pressure. And Piggum's a little bit of breathing room from Ricky as well in behind. So Mark's still in 2nd place, but Doug is pushing and closing here. We got 5.4 seconds here. We got just under 7 minutes remaining. So here we go. Let's see if anybody can make anything happen here. Tap has made his way around Hairraiser here, and he's opened up the gap a little bit. There we go. Let's see if Super takes a look. Nope, Super's going to try to go for the slow in, fast out run coming out of the final corner. And look at that. We've seen that move so many times coming out of Vito chicane here today. A great passing opportunity on this racetrack, and you can see why. Behind side-by-side battle here around the Coca-Cola corner here. And boy, oh boy, this is elbows out racing from Supra And Happy Pappy. And Happy Pappy is going to hold the position here. That was a great defense right there from Happy Pappy, our number 28 driver. We got our number 29 driver. He's going to take a look up the inside coming into turn number 1 here now. He's going to go in deep. Happy Pappy's going to just try to answer back here on the outside. He's going to take that wide entry and look for that nice, good, tight, tuck it right back in. No, he's still got a little bit of position on the outside fender there, and now he settles back into the line. But tight bar, and bar 27 now involved in this fight here as well. So just stick with this for a minute here as we got a juicy little battle in the back side of our pack here. Oh, and bar 27 must have made a little mistake there. I heard a little bit of tire screeching happening behind. It sounded like a little understeer moment there for bar 27. Pardon me, folks. And I just lost that back just a tiny little bit here. All right, let's keep going through the field here as we've got just over 5 minutes remaining here. So Ishmael, 28-second gap. So almost going to have 30 seconds here, I think, by the end of the race. We got Subi Mark. He's got 2 seconds over Doug. So open the gap back up on Doug. Doug's lose just a little bit of time to Piggums. Piggums not charging hard enough here. It's going to be hard for Piggums to get that charge closed up, I think, in the next 5 minutes. Ricky Baldy here, 2.4 seconds in behind Piggums. Losing touch with Piggums just a little bit here. Badass 1.8 seconds in behind Ricky Baldy, doing everything he can to try and close up with that driver. We got Tap there. He's opening up the gap on Hair Razor. The battle is right there, kind of in this back group here now. And a little bit of spacing here, separating our last 4 drivers, 11th through 13th here as well, 10th through 13th here, pardon me, as well in the racetrack. So no matter where it is on the track here, these guys have someone to battle with here today, and that's the best part. You know, maybe you're not having your best race, but there has been some healthy fighting for position in that last 4 pack there all race long. The only one that hasn't really had the battle here is Ishmael. He was our pole sitter. He got away with a good clean break. He didn't run away from this pack easily, and then it was just the insistent battling early in the early part of the race from that 2nd through 9th place, essentially, that just allowed Ishmael to continue just to drive away from the pack at race pace and just open the gap up. And well, it's going to give him his first round of racing win here in the Audi TT Cup Series. So coming in late into the season, but he continues to race like that, he's going to be putting some pressure on the mid pack here in the standings by the end of the season. Badass up into 6th place here. He's 2.2 seconds in behind that group. And we just don't see a lot of things changing, I think, up front here right now as this race progresses, unless a mistake is made by somebody or a big penalty's had at this point. I think we're not going to see a lot of change. So there we go. A half-second penalty for Mark, and Doug is clean right now. So that's going to cost a second to our 2nd place driver. And with a gap of 3.5 seconds, that's a little bit of hope for Doug Burrow there. But I mean, again, guys take pretty big liberties here on this corner. Now I know in the Group 3 cars this track is handing out penalties for all 4 tires over the white line, but it doesn't seem like that's the case here today in the Group 4 cars. So I have a feeling it's kind of class specific where the penalty limits are since the update as well. So we're learning. We have to learn how the game updates things. The game updates things a lot. They don't tell us everything that's necessarily been changed. We do need to figure a lot of these things out kind of on our own, just through our trial and error and experiences of playing the game. So there's always hidden things that were done in these updates that they just don't openly announce, and I do feel that that is one of those things that we're seeing here right now in the changes is penalty limits. So I've noticed it on a lot of tracks, running a lot of different types of cars over different tracks, and you know, taking liberties where you're normally used to taking liberties and not necessarily being able to take that liberty anymore, maybe getting penalized for it. And I noticed on the Nurburgring GP is one of the tracks, maybe the sprint circuit is different, but I know the GP, it has gotten much stricter coming out of Mercedes Arena as far as penalty infractions go. So again, you know, not something that's been openly put in the patch notes with the update, but it's definitely something that I've noticed a significant difference in since that major update. So there's always lots of hidden things with these updates that they change, and maybe they figure it's just not you know, important information to know, right? Maybe they just, you know, maybe they figure it's whatever, right? You know, that's blah blah blah, or maybe they that's the challenge of the game for competitive racing, is that we need to figure those things out as individual drivers and racing teams alike. Maybe, you know, maybe that's their plan all along. I'm not sure what it is, but definitely a big change in penalty limits on several of the racetracks, it seems like, here in the game since the last update, which was about a week ago. So Subi here still holding strong in second. You can see that penalty did cost him that second. It's actually cost him 1.2 seconds as Doug's now under 2.5 seconds away. Piggums is slowly but surely closing in on Doug here, but with a minute left in the race, it might be a little too late. Ricky Baldy's trying to close in on Piggums, and there's a potential there maybe. Badass is still right here in this conversation. Tap's closing in. Hair Razor's right there. I mean, the second to 8th place, if anything were to happen to any one of those drivers before the end of this race, there's definitely positions to be gained or lost from these drivers here. So we're gonna a 1 second penalty for Subi Mark, and oh boy, that is not ideal for him. That is going to put some pressure on him here in the latter part of this lap, coming in towards the Vital chicane on what is going to be the final lap here from our drivers today. So even our race leader here is on his final lap today. Now we're definitely keeping an eye on that here as we get down to the checkered flag. We could see a battle for second and third place after all here before the end of this race. Audi Cup racing, you just never know. You just never know. And I mean, this driver doesn't look like he's had even a wiggle wrong here today. He has just ran such a phenomenal race. Just showing how good he is here on the racetrack is all. So welcome in Ishmael, comes in with authority halfway through the season here and just absolutely dominates round number 5 here at the Nürburgring GP Sprint. And he's got 1 corner to go. I mean, he could spin a couple of victory donuts here and still have enough time to go across the finish line if he wanted to. But of course, he's not like that. This is a class act, top professional driver here. So congratulations to Ishmael, ERA's Ishmael Truth, for a round 5 GTRC victory here in the Audi TT Cup Series. Absolutely well executed race there from the Esports Race Asylum driver. All right, so let's stick on here. We're going to stick with Subi Mark and Doug Burrow. You can see that penalty. Look at Doug. He's right there. Are we going to see a battle in the final corner for second and third place here? Subi Mark, Doug Burrow, half a second separating the two of them. Penalty there by Subi Mark allowed this to close up. Coming around the final corner, and there's going to be no response here from Doug Burrow. It is going to be 10 Tenths Simracing Subi Mark with a second place finish here today, followed up very closely by Team Rad's Doug Burrow. Moves us up into 4th place. Battle here from Ricky. He gave Piggums a run, but it's going to be 10 Tenths Simracing's Piggums in 5th. It's going to be Ricky Baldy here in 5th place. It's going to be 10 Tenths Simracing's Badass in 6th position. It's going to be UTAP in 7th place. We have Hair Razor from Team Rad. He's going to bring it home here in 8th place for himself as well. It's going to be Mike 1972 coming across the line in 9th place. Super Boy in 10th position here. Type R rounding it out in 11th. We have Happy Pappy finishing in 12th place, and Bar 27 rounding out our field today. Pole position, clean race from Ishmael, and I'm assuming fastest lap, and that is correct. So the trifecta here from Ishmael, and that is how you enter a series, ladies and gentlemen. GG's. All right, so it is Ishmael with the win. It's Subi Mark in 2nd, Doug Burrow in 3rd, Piggums in 4th, Ricky Baldy in 5th. Also newcomer here today. Fantastic racing coming from him here today. Got Badass in 6th, Tap in 7th, Hair Razor in 8th. We got Mike 1972 in 9th place, Superboy in 10th, Type R in 11th, and Pappy in 12th, and 10 Tenths Simracing's Bar 27 rounding out the field here in 13th position today. That was some racing, folks. Oh no! Oh no! We can't save the replay. We gotta go delete replays. Okay. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that means we gotta go do some podium interviews, doesn't it? So, give me a moment to fire up some Discord action. Hopefully it doesn't lag the stream out. Discord has really been wreaking havoc with my software lately. So we'll see how it goes here. But wow, what a great race today, folks. Absolutely beautiful racing coming from the Gran Turismo racing community here today. And yeah, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. All right, so we will just sit tight in our interview box here. We'll flip back over to our intermission screen and just have a chat for a minute. So, race recap. I mean, so much happened in this race. 13 cars enter the grid. Biggest field of the season here, too, this weekend of racing here at the Audi TT Cup Series. So, first and foremost, thank you so much to the drivers. Absolutely huge turnout here today. 13 cars started today and 13 cars finished today. So, that is also a big notable mention as well. It was a feisty race here today, right from the get-go, right from the green flag drop. We had great battling all the way through the pack. And for the first about half a dozen laps, this pack was pretty much nose to tail, front to back. And then we started to see the pace separation, the mistakes of the drivers starting to separate and break open little groups of drivers throughout the field. So as we were getting towards our quarter point of the race to our midpoint of the race, absolutely hard fighting in the mid pack, absolutely great battling. And that battling ultimately really kind of led to Ishmael just having an absolutely 50-minute Sunday drive essentially around Nurburg Sprint here today with a dominating performance for the esports race asylum team here today and himself, and coming in with big points here. So again, coming in late in the season, but that's going to absolutely put him right in the middle of the standings here if he continues to have races like this throughout the rest of the season. There's still 3 rounds of racing left, plenty of time for him to make up ground here, and adding another level of competition to this already fairly competitive grid here. And then Subi Mark and Doug Barrow rounding out the podium, and those two had a battle for basically this entire race. It was all the gloves were off between those two drivers here today, and it led to some absolutely spectacular action. Our back 4 drivers as well, all race long battling out in that mid-pack battle. Drivers just constantly battling and changing positions as penalties were coming into play, and it was just absolutely great racing. We've seen beautiful execution, set up moves coming into the Vital chicane. I mean, it was just a great race here today. Great defensive driving from several of our racers today. Absolutely top level racing today from the GTRC community, straight up. All right, so we do have one of our drivers here, so we are going to go get ready to have a chat. So let's bring it over here. Let's throw this up here. Let's make sure we've got audio. All right. So we are here with our eventual 3rd place winner here today, and I mean this was anybody's guess who was eventually going to close out the podium here in this race today. First and foremost, absolute congratulations on a very, very, very hard-earned podium finish here today. This was potentially the absolutely toughest field we have seen in the Audi TT Cup Series so far this season, and boy did it present an absolutely feisty race, and you were at the forefront of that feistiness. You and Subi Mark absolutely duking it out all race long. Talk us through your day, my man.
Well, it wasn't a bad race. I mean, I got off to a good start, got round the outside of Piggy on turn 1, which meant I could, whilst I had half decent tyres, try and push a little bit. And I wasn't that far off the fastest lap. I think that's only about 0.2. For me, around this circuit, that's really good. The tyre drop off, we noticed in practice, seemed to affect us pad users a lot sooner than we were expecting. Like the tyre wear was showing very little, but we were losing lots of time. So, you know, it was a matter of then just defending and defending and defending. And Mark made it difficult for me. And as in true fashion, picked up a couple of penalties, back-to-back laps, which really didn't help. Mark got away, and although he got a couple, it wasn't enough for me to catch him back up. But pit stop strategy was great. I could have pushed a little bit earlier than I pushed. I had a lap of fuel left, so I didn't quite time the push right, and maybe that would have made a difference. I don't know, but you know, it was a really good race, and well done to. I'm going to call him Truth because that's the name that was showing up for me. Well done to him on his first race in the TT. He's absolutely smashing it. Geezy's proper quick. So that makes it even more difficult. Well done for Mark for just managing to hold out at the end there. He was much quicker through the chicane than me. So I needed to be in front at that point and I wasn't. So, yeah, well done to Mark. Well done to Truth. And congratulations to everybody. I think everybody that started finished. I think from what I'm aware, I haven't heard in the chat too many this happened and that happened. There's been a couple of little things, but, you know, might be our first incident report of the season, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, there was a lot of things happening around this racetrack. There was great battles all throughout this race. It wasn't just you and Subi Mark. I mean, basically from second to ninth place all race long, there were great battles happening. Drivers making their own separate little mistakes, penalties playing a small factor, obviously, and all of that. But it was hard, fair racing for the most part, and there was a little bit of elbows out racing, tire to tire contact. There was definitely some paint being swapped out there today. But I mean, you know what? That's the nature of this racetrack and these cars as well. And yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything overly egregious on the racetrack today. We caught a lot of the action on the track today, and I chalked this up as just a spectacular Audi TT Cup Series race today. But I mean, talk to me about that battling. Did the thought ever come across your mind when you were fighting with Mark that you guys were literally just handing a race win to Ishmael? I mean, he did not set one foot wrong here today. I don't even think I seen that guy make a wiggle in that racing car today. So did that thought cross your mind while you were fighting real hard there with Subi Mark at all when you're coming around the track? At some point, you guys were going to have to start to kind of try and play nice to try and close that gap, or did you guys just kind of decide, you know what, he's gone, this battle's right here?
I don't think me and Mark have ever thought that. We've unless we're teaming up on Troy for a laugh, we don't generally work together. We like to battle each other. It makes your side by side racing stronger. Helps you to be able to carry that little bit more speed when we were battling, because we didn't lose too much time battling. So we did all right. We both want to be ahead of each other, and again, he's ahead of me, which for me is a shame. But it's one of those things, and he's a great racer. So we just like to race. I battle like that with my own teammates as well. If Razor was up with me, I wouldn't let Razor get ahead of me and work together. I'd battle with Razor. I mean, mate, he was quick. We weren't catching him. Might as well have a proper race between us rather than push each other around the track. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Absolutely. And you know what? To each their own, because it was an absolutely great race today. We've had some epic races here from the Gran Turismo racing community in our very long-standing relationship we've had together as a broadcaster and community. And we've had some spectacular races in these last two championships that you guys have brought out. So I want to touch base on that. That Group 2 series has been just absolutely firing off all season long. The racing has been top level, really tight, good door-to-door action in that series, and it has been a great series, and it really has some hype in it. And then we come here today with this Cup Car series and almost stacked the grid here today at midway through the season, and look at the competition in this field. First through ninth place essentially are equally paced drivers, and in qualifying we were separated by 1.37 seconds from first to 13th place. So I mean, that just goes to show it how close that the Audis also are as far as cars go for a one-make series. I've always said that these cars make a great series, and they are proving that. Today was a top 5 race from the Gran Turismo community, in my personal opinion, and there are some great ones up there. I tell you, there are some good ones up there. Round 1 or 2 of the Group 2 series is right on top of that list right now with just the action on the race and just how well everybody handled themselves on and off the racetrack. So, I mean, as an administrator, especially one of the main guys that helps put these things together and you kind of keep things moving in behind the scenes, what are you seeing this season between the two championships, and what do you hope that comes out of it by the end of the season?
Well, I mean, the scope between the two championships couldn't be much wider, really. But it's worked out really well. Both have created really, really good driving. I mean, we do a lot of little one-make mini seasons. We've done the odd one-make main season. You know, but it all comes down to us guys on our Fun Fridays or Monday Madness or those nights where the majority of us, or a good bunch of us, get together and we just drive any old random cars. We go, oh, what do we fancy driving today? What should we drive today? Should we drive something really weird today? And it chucks ideas out there. And then if people enjoy it, we can generally build on it, and we can get to see what keeps the field as close as possible in evenness of driving across the field, and try and get a championship that works for everybody, that everybody agrees. Obviously, we put them all up to vote, but that everybody agrees to, and that can be fun. So that, I mean, these Audis have changed a little bit since the start of the season in the way they handle, but they're still a good giggle to drive. And as you say, you can still drive side by side. You can still have that close racing. You can still have that little bit of rubbing. And because of the pace of the car, it does kind of keep the field a little bit closer together. There's obviously a bigger stretch in the Group 2s, but everybody seems to be enjoying them. Everybody managed to get into a car that they liked before the season started, that they felt they can be the most competitive in. And we got a couple of runaways, but all in all, it's been going really well. So yeah, I mean that's all we try and do is just keep trying to pick those cars that work and are fun. And we hadn't seen any Group 2 stuff, so we had to go in the Group 2s. All the boys loved them. We were playing around in the Group 1s, and all the boys loved them as well. So I know that's something you're on at the moment. So we'll give that a skip. I might do a one-off event. But yeah, there's a few cars that were on the list for the mini season this season that didn't make it because they were handling funny. And after the update, they're handling like a dream. So that might be a step for next season. I'm not going to give anything away just yet, but it might be a step for next season. Just depends what we look at. But yeah, it's all done to try and keep the field as close together, try and get the community enjoying the cars. We all have our moments of going, this car's rubbish, but it generally works out in the long run over the course of the season. Everybody seems to enjoy it.
Absolutely, and like I said, it has provided some great racing so far here this season. The grid's been about 10 drivers all season long, but now we're definitely seeing some competition come in. So first and foremost, obviously congratulations to second place driver Subi Mark. He obviously couldn't jump into the booth. It's very late in the UK, so it could be supper time.
He's got to go off to work soon, so he doesn't have a great deal of time.
But he would just have nothing but great things to say about the battle between him and Doug in that mid-pack battle, and he congratulate all the competitors. And from Ten Tenths Simracing, congratulations to Mark for his great performance today. And then we have Ishmael. This driver, he stepped up here today. He showed what an esports driver looks like on a racetrack. And he didn't really put too many feet wrong today. If he put any feet wrong, he had a good clean race, and he broke away from the pack and just controlled the race from there. So a great job to him, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do in round number 6 as well. At what is it? I believe it's
Definitely.
Monza is our next round in 2 weeks' time. So
it's Mount Panorama.
Oh, it's a Panorama. My mistake.
Monza's next week, I think, for the Group 2s. It's Mount Panorama for the TTs.
Yes, that's. I'm looking at the Group 2 schedule right now. That's where Monza came from.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, congratulations, Doug. Great racing here again today. Absolute show that you guys put on. For the fans at home, between basically 2nd through 9th place and 10th through 13th place, put on an incredible show. The battling happening in the backside of the field too was fantastic. So really from 2nd through the whole field, there was great battling all race long, and really great race here today. Congratulations on 3rd place finish. I guess any shout outs you want to throw out there before we close this out here for today?
First of all, shout out to you and GT45 for the support within this and the commentary, which it's muchly appreciated. Obviously, that's always the most important one comes first. Thank you to GTRC and all the admin boys for putting on the events. Cheers to all the guys that came in. And hopefully, thanks to anyone that was watching, and we'll hopefully put on just as good a race around Mount Panorama. It's going to be a lot more sketchy, I reckon. I think there's going to be a lot more going on, but yeah, thank you to everyone.
Absolutely, and I think Mount Panorama is going to draw a crowd. It's an iconic racetrack, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting in 2 weeks' time, that's for sure. But we appreciate you. Congratulations on a great finish, and we'll let you get back to that Team Rad clubhouse there and go celebrate with your team.
All right, thanks, buddy. Good night, mate.
Cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. Typically, we don't get Mark in the interviews because he's got a very busy schedule. He's a busy man, and racing is at the top of his game, and then family is right there with it. So you cannot fault anybody for that. Podium interviews are obviously not mandatory for our drivers. It's just something that if they choose to do, come and say hello, that they can do. So and it gives the fans a little bit of personal insight on each of the drivers as we go through a season. So thrilling race today. All I can say is it was an absolute thrilling race today. Great job by all 13 of our competitors here today. Great job by our track officials and crews. Good job to the volunteers behind the scenes and the administration staff for keeping these seasons and racing rounds moving. So what do we have next weekend? Well, we've got round 6 of that absolutely fast, action-packed Group 2 series we've been talking about. We're going to send out a full grid of Group 2 top-tier drivers, and we're going to let them tear apart Monza in round number 6. Monza, Group 2 cars, beautiful combination. Gonna be a fast race, gonna be full of chaos and great battling. Don't want to miss it. That will start off at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in North America, and we'll be live right here on GT45 Gaming and the Gran Turismo Racing Community YouTube channel. Thank you everybody so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, and I hope everybody enjoyed this great Audi TT Cup race that we had here today. 50 minutes of hot, hard, flying TCS action. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember everybody, you all matter. Don't keep it in. You're struggling. Reach out. Somebody is there that is willing to listen and potentially could even help. We want to help. We just want you to be smiling and enjoying the sunshine. Stay winning, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Appreciate y'all.